There's a great clip that was used in the montage when they were paying tribute to Jack Charlton, and I think it was from the Sports Personality of the Year when he was paying his younger brother Bobby a glowing praise, and Bobby was there with his head bowed. And during that minute's silence, I was looking, as we sit behind the director's box here at Old Trafford, to the United section on the left-hand side, and just thinking where normally maybe Sir Bobby would sometimes sit here at Old Trafford. And that was there have been lovely tributes paid. And in fact, there is a reminder that BBC Radio 5 Live, the Football Daily podcast, has its own tribute to Jack Charlton. Some lovely words from our correspondent, John Murray, Johnny Giles and Mark Lawrenson, as the first whistle is to signify everybody taking the knee for the Black Lives movement. And certainly after the depressing racial abuse that two players have received in recent days, important that message continues to be rammed home, as in the second whistle from our referee Chris Kavanagh gets this game underway. So Southampton are playing from right to left as we look. They're attacking the Stretford end on what is a bright evening here in Manchester. Still a little bit of blue sky up above, weak sunshine, and this Manchester United side looking to try and leapfrog both Leicester and Chelsea for the top four. And it would mean that Leicester City would drop out of the top four for the first time since September, as Maguire comes across and gets a firm challenge in on Che Adams, who of course opened his account in spectacular fashion against Manchester City. And Adams, who's celebrating his birthday today, certainly feeling the effects of that challenge. He's 24 today.
Yeah, and he'll want to have a big evening. Really important, that goal against Manchester City, because he had a dodgy start, I think it's fair to say, at Southampton. Brought to score goals, didn't do that, but this is a confident Southampton team away from home. 4-4-2, they're set up. You'll see them play with a narrow midfield four in there.
Pogba hits the ball early. Bruno Fernandes is onto it, right-hand side of the penalty area, tried to get it across, and just moving across the line was Jack Stevens. Quickly saw the danger and dealt with it from the Portuguese international, as it goes out of a play for a throw to Manchester United that Wan-Bissaka is going to take. It's about 10 yards up from the corner flag, and finds Pogba on this right-hand side. Ings and Redmond are back helping out, and then Bertrand drops to his knees, and there was a foul there, and that will be a free kick to Southampton, who since restart only one defeat in 5. They've done well, haven't they, under Ralph Hasenhüttl?
That was to Arsenal. They play with such an intensity. Southampton, a front foot team, get after the opposition. Been really, really impressed with them. They're safe now, of course, but the manager extremely demanding. But Manchester United, their manager demanding as well. What an opportunity this evening. They're set up 4-2, 3-1. Pogba in alongside Matic in the middle of the field. Fernandes will play ahead of them, and they've got the pace and guile in the wide areas. Rashford on the ball now. Rashford looking to turn, but running back and taking off his toes was the shaven-headed figure of Romeo. And Walker-Peters, who's done well since his loan from Tottenham, will clear the ball downfield. Ings now comes into the centre circle, gets away from Fernandes. The referee Chris Kavanagh has actually played a little bit of an advantage there, so Southampton still have it. Redmond, Ward-Prowse lays it off to Romeo. Walker-Peters has made the run, and he's darting forward on the right-hand side, and on the stretch he couldn't keep the ball in play as it goes out for a goal kick, but it was a nice idea. Yeah, it was. And Southampton, I mentioned that narrow four in midfield. It allows the full-backs to get on there. Romeo disappointed there, under no pressure with the crossfield ball from left to right. Walker-Peters not too far away, getting a decent cross in. The tribute that was paid to Jack Charlton, of course, it was this venue, which one of the more infamous games in English football that Jack Charlton was part of it, that 1970 FA Cup final replay, Leeds United against Chelsea, when it was re-refereed recently by Michael Oliver. 11 red cards he would have shown. The referee at the time just showed the one yellow, and that was certainly an epic battle. I think we'll be in for a tamer affair tonight. Would it be nice to have that back? What, those type of games? Yeah, those bit of aggression, let things go. Oh, we'll see how. Better spectator sport. Don't know that, wouldn't it? No? I don't know.
I certainly would. I actually was watching highlights of it earlier today, just out of curiosity, and there was some brutal challenges.
No prisoners.
There was that was like a kung fu kick on Billy Bremner. I think we're talking Leeds United as well at half time with Mark Chapman, who's back with us for the Monday Night Club tonight, and it's Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. De Gea gets it out from underneath his feet, all in like a lime green away from our left hand side, and it's gone out of play. Again, the pressing, the intensity that Southampton will give you.
And there you go. Southampton aren't here to sit in. Pressure on De Gea. And then Armstrong closing down Maguire, who puts the ball out. Southampton throw in.
Let's get a quick update from Wembley. It's the League One playoff final. Oxford against Wycombe. John Southall.
Well, Wycombe lead Oxford by 1-0. Oxford have had 72% of possession, but yet to create a real clear opening. The goal, Anthony Stewart on the far post nodding in, may well go down as an own goal off the keeper Eastman. Oxford 0, Wycombe 1.
Tomorrow we'll have news of Chelsea against Norwich. There's also 7 games in the Championship. We're certainly at the business end of the regulation season in the Championship before they get to the playoffs. Wednesday night, 2 commentaries: Manchester City, Bournemouth, and Arsenal against Liverpool. But here we are at Old Trafford with Manchester United. And Matic strokes it back to Maguire. Been quite a slow pace from Manchester United in these early stages. How long we've been playing? Just over 5 minutes.
Yes, it has been. They'll be looking to up the rhythm. Rashford now on the left-hand side, driving with the ball.
And gives it away. And Bednarak will stop it on the edge of the area. He chips it long to Adams, takes it high on the chest, loses out to Matic, who's been so effective. And Matic now will come forward, then overruns it to Romeo, just gets his body in the way. Romeo's forward ball, Ings just outside the centre circle. Back, Bednarek plays it earlier. Manchester United are pressing, but they've worked it back, and then across, and on the right-hand side, Walker-Peters will come forward. Now as just starts to drift in field, plays a diagonal ball. Ings has... Well, I think the flag will be raised. United was certainly looking at the assistant on the far side, but no, it stayed down and worked. Bertrand is forward, and then Bertrand with a pacey ball cut back from the inside left channel of the penalty area, saved by De Gea.
Yeah, it was a good bit of play. First of all, from the right-hand side, Kyle Walker-Peters releasing Ings with the diagonal ball, and Bertrand got on. Ings fed the ball to Bertrand, who fired a cross, and De Gea gathered well.
Lindelof to Wan-Bissaka, gives the ball away straight to Romeo. Early ball, hopping in frustration was Hasenhüttl there because Southampton gave it away cheaply. Still they will press. Maguire got rid of it, but they're coming under some pressure at the back. Southampton are really on the front foot at the minute. Martial loses out. Ward-Prowse. Probably say that Southampton are shading it 7 minutes in, 0-0.
I have to say, we're sitting out. I don't think any of us are surprised by Southampton's start. Should have won the last game away from home against Everton. Dominated the game, had opportunities, didn't take them. Such an oddity, isn't it, to see them so good away from home, and yet their home form has been dreadful. I think only Norwich have a worse home record.
Yeah, they've collected 27 points away from home. It's one of the highest in the Premier League, but they have collected more points on their travels than they have at home. And that was the case with Wolves until yesterday, as Lindelof drills a high ball downfield, headed away well by Stevens, picked up now by Romeo. And it's Southampton who are asking questions here. Ings on this near side, the left. Redmond's ahead of him, plays it back. But it's a very, very confident start from Southampton. 8 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live, 0-0. Ward-Prowse back with Bertrand. Manchester United at the minute are just dropping off, and they're letting Southampton have the ball at the back. Ward-Prowse, but it's Southampton who are seeing a lot more of the ball.
Yes, they are, but I mean they can play, can't they? They're not looking to lump the ball forward. They're looking to play through midfield. The likes of Romeo, they're just popping the ball out.
Adams able to turn. Ward-Prowse hits it early, but it's behind Bertrand, and it goes out for a throw to Manchester United. Mind you, when they played Aston Villa, I thought Aston Villa had the better of the opening quarter before the water break / tactical break came in, and then Manchester United were able to pick up. But Aston Villa had started quite well in that particular game when they met recently against Manchester United at Villa Park. It's still 0-0, it's 5 Live. But Southampton are seeing a lot of the ball. Here is Armstrong. Challenged by Matic, fouled by Matic, free kick to Southampton, a few yards forward of the centre circle in the central area of the Manchester United half.
Yeah, they're winning Battles all over the pitch. Southampton United haven't got started. Southampton with a greater intensity, greater urgency.
Here is Ward-Prowse. Bednarek on the halfway line. Ward-Prowse, mistake by Ward-Prowse. He lets in Martial. That could be costly. Martial into the penalty area. Very good save by McCarthy. Strong left arm, because one-on-one, McCarthy has saved the blushes there of Ward-Prowse.
I tell you what, we said that Southampton would try and play, and Ward-Prowse with the error. You fancy Martial has been in good goal-scoring form this season. 1v1. And McCarthy stands big, but Martial could have gone round the keeper. McCarthy stood up really, really well. Martial tries to side foot the ball past him. On his near post, he lifts it, and McCarthy, big left hand.
It was a strong left hand as well, wasn't it, from McCarthy, in a garish pink goalkeeping outfit away towards our right-hand side. Mind you, he was in good form when they played Manchester City. As the ball is into the penalty area, here is shot coming in, and that was from Armstrong on the edge of the area, low left-footed. David De Gea in his 400th appearance made the save. Yeah, nice first touch.
Takes it really well out of the air, Stuart Armstrong, as the ball looped up, right foot onto his left foot and drilled a shot. De Gea down to his left-hand side. Really coming to the fore, he is, Stuart Armstrong.
I was going to say, he's a player I'm sure you'll have seen a lot of from your Celtic time, watching Celtic.
Yeah, and can play a number of positions. And if you ask me whether right wing was one of his strongest ones, he plays narrow off the right-hand side. What he is a very intelligent footballer.
He was the first signing when Mark Hughes was the manager. He scored 4 goals this season. The trouble is with his effort, it was straight at David De Gea, but it was a lovely first touch. But it's 0-0.
Just seen that chance again. It was like the Gerrard slip. Ward-Prowse letting the ball run across him. Martial should have buried that.
Pogba caught in possession by Southampton's high pressing. Here is Redmond. He clips over the cross, and there is Stuart Armstrong, and Stuart Armstrong scores, and Southampton have taken the lead. And you've got to say it's a thoroughly deserved lead through Stuart Armstrong. Close range. Southampton lead 1-0.
Well, they're absolutely fearless, aren't they? They have been out of the blocks. Southampton, they've been the better team. They've shown greater intensity. Poor play from Pogba. Got caught, but boy, didn't Southampton make them pay. De Gea plays a short ball out to Pogba, who has a look, and Danny Ings pinches the ball off him. Redmond down the left-hand side, drags the ball, flicks it across to Armstrong, and it's all about his first touch. He doesn't panic. He's 6 yards out on the far post. Wonderful first touch with his right foot, and on the half volley, just whips it past De Gea into the far corner. The perfect start.
It was a very calm and composed finish from Stuart Armstrong that takes his tally to 5, and Southampton worthy of the lead on the evidence of what we've seen so far in these 12 minutes, because aside from that error from Ward-Prowse, they haven't allowed Manchester United to get into any of a rhythm. They're not into their stride, and Southampton are on the front foot, and they are continuing to come forward and continuing to pose all sorts of problems. But it was Pogba who lost the ball to Ings.
Terrible error. You called it, Ian. You said that they'd started slowly, and they had done. They have to make it happen, Manchester United. They didn't. Casual, far too casual, Paul Pogba. Credit Danny Ings, though. Pinched the ball off him.
There is one statistic that would offer a degree of caution for Southampton supporters, that they have lost 9 Premier League matches against Manchester United after scoring the opening goal. However, they are coming forward now. Armstrong, Redmond, right-hand side of the penalty area, back towards the near post with a cutback. Did well to actually get it back, but Manchester United repelled that attack.
Well, that was nearly 2. And it was Armstrong, narrow off the right-hand side, sliding a ball into Redmond, who'd gotten behind Harry Maguire in that right-hand channel. And then he whips the ball across, and it's cleared. United panicky at this moment in time. It was Lindelof who made the clearance on his 6-yard line.
Sometimes you see games in the Premier League where teams don't get to the byline. Manchester City do it a lot, where they're able to cut the ball back from the byline. Southampton have done it twice here in the opening 13 minutes.
And I think a lot of times over the years you would have commentated on teams coming to Manchester United, coming to the Theatre of Dreams with fear, sitting back, trying to counter-attack. This Southampton team, front foot football, brave football, and they've got the reward. You can see a picture of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer frustrated.
Again, Adams keeping the ball in play, was looking towards Adams. I think that fear factor might well have been coming back, but to credit Southampton, you look at Manchester United's recent form here. They've scored 18 goals in their last 5 home games. This is a Manchester United side that have been doing well at home of late. But to credit Southampton, they're the ones who are imposing themselves on the game. They are the superior side. They are the sharper side in every respect at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spoke about Fernandes, didn't we, before the game? He's been such a key player for them. He's barely touched the ball. Can't get him on the ball. He's trying to get in between the Southampton midfield and back line. They cannot get him on the ball.
Former Southampton player Shaw bursts forward, diagonal ball, flag stays down. Rashford, flag's up now though. That'll go to VAR, but Rashford's goal has been ruled out by the assistant on this near side, and he'd probably just shaded, got ahead of Bednarek before tucking the ball in.
Yep, and
it will go to VAR as a matter of course.
But it did look from our position like he was offside. Just goes early. He is a yard offside. Didn't need to go that early because he has such great pace. Lovely ball from Shaw from the left-hand side. Inch perfect, and Rashford finished with aplomb. Right foot, side foot into the back of the net, but correctly ruled out.
Well, that might offer a little bit of encouragement for Manchester United, who at the moment, you think that Chelsea and Leicester City have squandered points this weekend. Manchester United find themselves behind here by 1-0. Just 2 points separate those 3 sides, vying for those last 2 berths in the top 4 in the Premier League, behind Liverpool and Manchester City. A Manchester United side that have failed to score just once in their last 17 games in all competitions. But with the exception of that ball that was played forward by Shaw and the error by Ward-Prowse, Manchester United have offered nothing in an attacking sense, as McCarthy hits it long downfield. Climbing high was Bertrand, and lifted forward first time by Adams and through towards David De Gea. Half-time at Wembley, Oxford United Wycombe. John Southall.
Oxford 0, Wycombe 1. Oxford have had 73% possession, but they knew what was coming from set pieces, and that's where the goal came from. Corner on the right, Simon Eastwood in the Oxford goal got nowhere near it, and Anthony Stewart nodded in at the far post, off Eastwood and into the net. One good chance for Oxford, James Henry on the right of the area, good strike, but drifted wide of the left post. Oxford 0, Wycombe 1.
Thanks, John. Bednarek forward, blocked. Headed back then by Bertrand, kept in play by Wan-Bissaka, and a little bit of a late challenge, I think, on Wan-Bissaka by Ward-Prowse, and then that will be a free kick to Manchester United. But we've hardly mentioned Bruno Fernandes, have we?
No, and that's credit to Southampton. They've stopped the supply line into him, worked exceptionally hard, and is out over near this right-hand touchline. Maguire now goes forward, Lindelof goes forward. Can they create something from this set piece?
Quite a high line from Southampton with the free kick, a couple of yards outside the penalty area. Fernandes doesn't actually breach that line. It's headed away well by the left back Bertrand. Comes back to Fernandes, headed clear this time by Bednarek, and then with every outfield player in the half towards our right, sure it is, who finds a forward ball, but Pogba again has been dispossessed by Adams. He's taken it off his toes, and all of a sudden it's 2 against 2. Adams in towards Ings, but the forward ball went more closer towards the goalkeeper De Gea, and they weren't able to capitalise on that situation.
That's twice now for Paul Pogba. Really poor play, hasn't got started at all.
Now all of a sudden United are coming forward. Martial, left-hand side of the penalty area, scoops it into the box, headed away by Bednarek, and helped further out of play for a Manchester United throw over on that far side. Yeah, he was caught in possession for the goal, as Southampton eventually took the lead through Armstrong after 12 minutes. Here he is, Paul Pogba, out towards Shaw, far side, forward down the line. Rashford level the penalty area, running in field. Martial takes over with his back to goal. 30 yards out from goal, drifting away from the penalty area. Pogba plays it back out towards the left. Shaw back towards Pogba once more. Southampton have those change strips, the yellow and charcoal grey. Everybody almost back behind the ball. They're working very, very hard. They're stifling Manchester United.
But you have to say United seem to be complacent. Started at a slow pace. They think it's just going to happen, or somebody's going to make it happen. Need a bit of individual responsibility.
But it's the work ethic that has been so striking for Southampton in these opening 20 minutes. I mean, as Pogba had that ball there were 3 Southampton players over on that far side dealing with him. They're working very, very hard. And they're not allowing Manchester United many opportunities. Here is Bruno Fernandes on the right-hand side, but again they've doubled up on Bruno Fernandes. Greenwood's behind him. Pogba now midway through the Southampton half, diagonal ball. Martial with his back to goal, can't turn. Was he fouled there? Out towards Rashford, and Rashford scores and equalises. Well, 20 minutes played. Good take by Rashford. Hit it true and low, left-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. It's 1-1.
Yeah, and Paul Pogba with the ball in. I don't know whether that was more luck than judgment that had arrived. But Anthony Martial, I just wondered, Ian, whether the referee would have looked at a possible penalty. Martial does so well, back to goal, about 12 yards out. Takes it in his clip, but he releases the ball outside of his right foot to Rashford. And it's a really devastating finish, a cool finish from Rashford. Brilliant from Martial, left-footed finish past McCarthy from the angle into the corner. 1-1. Have to say United haven't deserved it.
So Marcus Rashford equalises for the home side. And I did mention that statistic. It is quite bizarre, really. That's for Southampton, who have lost those 9 Premier League matches after scoring the opening goal. They'll be hoping that doesn't be the case once again. Very soon we'll be having the tactical break. But there'll be much work to do for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, despite the scoreline on the evidence of what we've seen so far, rather than Southampton.
Yeah, absolutely. But he will be relieved. Terrific play from Martial. I suppose that's been an issue with Southampton this season, a consequence of their play, that they have conceded a few goals. They have tightened up in recent games.
It's 1-1. BBC Radio 5 Live, 21 and a half minutes played on this bright evening in Manchester. Bertrand. Southampton have been the better side. Bertrand then gives it away. It's kept in play by Greenwood. Wan-Bissaka comes under pressure. Greenwood's not able to turn because Bertrand will go and force him back, and they go all the way back towards David De Gea in green, away towards our left-hand side. Lindelof now inside the penalty area of his own half, in front of the Stretford end. Strokes it to Maguire. Maguire then will help it out towards Luke Shaw on that far side as Ralph Hasenhüttl patrols his technical area in his grey tracksuit. The baseball cap on. Might need that as well, certainly when that weak sunshine was just peering over the stands, at the top of the stand at the Stretford end towards our left. Pogba coming forward, diagonal ball, finds Bruno Fernandes, just finds a little bit of space there. Bruno Fernandes in between the lines. Martial now cutting in off that left touch line, and Martial fires the ball home, and Manchester United have quickly turned this around, and that is Martial's 50th goal in the Premier League for Manchester United, and it gives them a 2-1 lead.
Well, absolutely devastating this from Anthony Martial. Fernandes pops the ball out to the left-hand side, and we've seen Martial, it's been a feature of his play over a number of years, likes to come in on his right foot. It's from one end to the other. Wan-Bissaka into Pogba, into Fernandes, out left. Martial drives inside. Kyle Walker-Peters and hammers the ball, goes for power. No chance for McCarthy. You have to question why Kyle Walker-Peters let him come inside on his favoured right foot, but take nothing away from the finish. And United have turned this round very, very quickly.
He is the 10th Manchester United player to reach 50 goals in the Premier League, and I think that's possibly the first time that Bruno Fernandes has found that little bit of space in between the lines, and he found Martial, and then Martial obviously did the rest.
Yep, one end to the other. And I think now Martial and Rashford have both equalled Lukaku's 16 Premier League goals from 17-18. I don't want this to become a stat off.
Well, listen, I'm not here to compete with you in terms of stats, but I will tell you that it's his 10th goal in his last 9 home games here for Anthony Martial.
Only Mbappe and Sancho have scored more goals than Marcus Rashford, under 23 players across Europe in the top 5 leagues. Don't know.
I enjoy working on Mondays with you and Mr. Chapman.
That's me out now.
Is it? Yeah. Tell you what, though, if you'd have watched this game for the first quarter with the drinks break, the stroke tactical break, and Southampton have had the better of it, and then all of a sudden you'll have nipped out to the toilet maybe, and in the space of 3 minutes you wouldn't believe that Manchester United are now leading by 2-1.
Absolutely not. And Ralph Hasenhüttl will be furious with the 2 goals Southampton have conceded. Brilliant the second one, wasn't it, from Martial?
Yeah.
It's been a feature of his game over the years when he drifts out left. But you know what's coming if you're Kyle Walker-Peters. Shouldn't let him come inside.
It must be soul-destroying, though, for Southampton to have played so well, and yet, in a matter of minutes, you find yourselves 2-1 down.
Absolutely. I mean, they came out on the front foot, played the better football, looked the better team, quicker onto second balls. And you can see the 2 goals now have totally changed the game. Southampton seem to be slightly hesitant. They need to get back to the way they started with that rhythm.
Thing is, as well, though, it just goes to show how lethal Manchester United are in clinical in that final third of late. That's 20 goals that they've scored now in the last 5 and a bit games here at home. They've had, what have they had? They've had 4 opportunities in front of goal. McCarthy, after the error from Ward-Prowse, had to make a very good save. A goal disallowed, and from the 2 other opportunities, they've scored 2 goals.
Yep, clinical. But you look at the front line this season, the emergence of Greenwood, Martial in that central striking role. Rashford has always been a threat, but they've got that creativity now with the Portuguese Pied Piper, Fernandes.
Well, they are certainly 2 strikers very much in form, Rashford and Martial. They have scored 13 of the 19 goals at home this season, and Manchester United have won, when they have scored, have won 10 of those 11. They've drawn 1. When they haven't scored, Manchester United haven't actually won. They've drawn 4 and lost 2. So they've proved to be talisman for Manchester United as they combine on that left-hand side once more. Martial waits. Rashford just behind him, pulls it all the way back to Shaw. And it'll be now with Matic on that far side. Should say as well, if you can hear the added effects in the background, if you want the clean version, that's on 5 Live Sports Extra, as Wan-Bissaka gets to the line, blocked though by Redmond, and it goes out of play for a Manchester United throw. And in fact, on Sports Extra tomorrow, that reminds me, it's the anniversary of England and the cricket, the World Cup final, and that'll be replayed in full tomorrow throughout the day on Sports Extra. And talking of cricket, Vaughan and Tuffers are on after we are at 10 o'clock tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester United lead 2-1. Pogba from distance, beaten out by McCarthy, smartly down towards his right-hand side and beats it out all the way out for a throw on that far side.
Yeah, what a lovely touch, Deno, from Fernandes. Little back flick into Pogba, who's 25 yards out, who rifles a right foot shot. That's a smart save from McCarthy down to his right-hand side. But that's the creativity which we're talking about with Fernandes, what he gives this United team, that invention.
His assist for that Martial goal means now he's been involved in 14 goals in 10 and a bit games in the Premier League, with 7 goals and 7 assists. You would certainly say he's been the catalyst.
He's catalysed this United team.
Maguire's ball over the top, away from Luke Shaw, and out of play it goes for a throw. That effort from Pogba would have moved in the air, so You're not convinced that it did?
No, it's a decent strike, but too close to McCarthy. Got down well to his right-hand side. Game totally changed now, hasn't it?
Completely transformed with those 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. So Manchester United moving ahead of Leicester and Chelsea. It would take them to 61 points, just a point clear of Chelsea, and Leicester for the first time since September, dropping out of the top 4. Leicester take on Sheffield United on Thursday. They've then got to go away to Tottenham on Sunday, and then they play Manchester United at the King Power on the last day of the season. Manchester United looking to maintain this unbeaten run that before tonight was at 17 games in all competitions.
United will want that finish before going to Leicester, won't they? Want to be, well, they'll go 2 points clear of them. Leicester need to pick themselves up.
Manchester United, one of the form teams, and coming from behind here to lead by 2-1 as we have approached the half hour here on 5 Live. Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. Wan-Bissaka heads it forward. Greenwood. Last touch came off Greenwood. It'll be a Southampton throw about 10 yards forward of the halfway line on this near side, the left, as they play from right to left, attacking the Stretford end. Bertrand to take it. Redmond is there. Ings, Romeo as well. Manchester United, they'll have plenty of red shirts around Bertrand. It doesn't have too many free options. Eventually picks out Redmond. Redmond that comes under pressure from Bruno Fernandes and works it back to Stevens. And Stevens now midway through his own half with a bit of space to run into. Walker-Peters is out towards his right-hand side. Ward-Prowse has made the run. Finds Romeo inside the centre circle. Walker-Peters on that right-hand side. Midway through the Manchester United half. Carries the ball infield. Now with Redmond, central area, manages to get away from Greenwood. Redmond drifting out towards this left. Bertrand is ahead of him. Bertrand's cross closed down by Wan-Bissaka. It's amazing that in the early stages of the game, Manchester United, as Southampton win the ball back, couldn't get close to Southampton. And all of a sudden now you find that Manchester United are closing down crosses as Armstrong hits a ball over the head of Redmond and out of play it goes for a throw. It has turned completely on its head.
No, it has, but I have to say I haven't seen Wan-Bissaka beaten in those 1v1 situations at all this season. He probably has been, but I've not seen it as exceptional in those situations. I think it's been a very good piece of business from United.
Here is Walker-Peters on the ball for Southampton. Back to Romeo, forward to Armstrong. Armstrong running away from the penalty area. Short ball back to Romeo. Romeo forward ball laid off by Ward-Prowse. Redmond just outside the D, tried to thread it through. Wan-Bissaka was tucked in to clear for Manchester United. Rashford now picks it up, and Rashford goes on the outside of Walker-Peters, and Rashford now is in full flight. Bruno Fernandes streaking through the middle, crosses the ball to Mason Greenwood, off the chest, brings the ball under control, right side of the penalty area. Pogba's little flick inside creates the opening for Martial, and his left-footed shot is over the top, and it's out for a goal kick, and United still lead 2-1.
No, and they look devastating, don't they? United, when they're in full flight. Rashford driving with the ball down the left-hand side, whips a crossing, comes to Greenwood. It all eventually ends up with Martial on the edge of the box. You see the idea, trying to find that far corner, and bends it well round the post, McCarthy's right-hand post.
In the build-up to the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking a lot about don't believe the hype. He was trying to, I think, keep the focus of the Manchester United players. And anybody who's just joined us, Manchester United leading by 2-1. The fact that when they were behind, that wasn't down to any sort of complacency. That was down to the way that Southampton approached the game and to how well Southampton started. But Manchester United now have turned it around. They lead by 2-1, and all of a sudden we're seeing a lot more of United going forward in that final third.
Yeah, I think if we're going to be honest, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wouldn't have been happy with the start. It was all a little bit lackadaisical, a bit slow, ponderous. Pogba on the ball, got caught out for Southampton's goal. They got back into the game. Good finish from Rashford, and then quickly Martial, devastating finish. And now they're controlling this match. They're where they want to be.
The other thing about United, though, I mean, they obviously got pace in abundance with Rashford and Martial and Greenwood, but when Rashford broke down that left-hand side for that last attack, you also had Bruno Fernandes streaking through the middle. They've got a lot of attacking options, and he really has brought the best out of the players around him, Bruno Fernandes, as Manchester United are on the back foot at the minute. The Southampton with Adams. Romeo, forward ball, not controlled by Redmond, went away from him. Greenwood, though, back there helping out, and it's a hurried ball out of defence by Wan-Bissaka. It had to be again because of the attentions of Redmond and Armstrong that were looking to press on the United right back. So it was a hurried ball that bounces back off the advertising hoardings. It's a throw on this near side. Bertrand the left, attacking the Stretford end, playing from right to left, trailing by 2-1 the away side. Here is Ward-Prowse, the England international, to Bertrand down this left-hand side. The return ball toward Prowse. Down towards the corner flag he goes, and Matic clears for Manchester United off the head of Romeo, loops up in the air, headed back by Walker-Peters, the flick by Armstrong, laid off to Romeo, digs it out, forward ball by Adams, and then cleared outside the D of the penalty area by Pogba, and that was clattered downfield, and Stevens will see it back to McCarthy. And there was only Martial who was pressing there for Manchester United, and Southampton will play the ball out from the back. Romeo in front of that back four. Bednarek sweeps it across first time. Bertrand over the halfway line on the left-hand side. Forward towards Redmond, coming across is Lindelof, and Southampton get a throw.
Yeah, just getting a foothold again in the game. Redmond and Armstrong play so narrow. They're almost a 4-2-2-2, aren't they, Southampton? The way they set up, and they get the width from the full-backs.
Bertrand's back heel to Danny Ings on the left side. He'll win a throw off the shins of Mason Greenwood. We've got about 9 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester United 2, Southampton 1 is the latest scoreline here, as Bertrand has to go down the little bank that runs at the side of the playing surface at Old Trafford to take the throw. He gets it back then from Redmond. It's a ball along the ground towards Ward-Prowse. Manchester United bring it clear Matic, but he's hit that too hard. Away from Martial. McCarthy midway through his own half. Swings his left foot at that. Downfield, the Southampton goalkeeper, all in pink. Drops towards Che Adams, running forward. Tries to go in between Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka. Does he keep the ball in play? He actually does. Did very well. Looked like a lost cause. Wasn't going to give that one up. Manchester United clear. Little deft header by Bruno Fernandes, but Mason Greenwood not able to get on it, and it goes all the way back to McCarthy, and Southampton are in possession once more, trying to shake off the damaging 2 goals that they conceded in the space of 3 minutes, as they themselves are looking for an equaliser here at Old Trafford. There was a back-to-back seasons where they did a number on Manchester United. They won by a 1-0 on both encounters. We've had 3 goals already in what has been it's been an entertaining half, Chris Sutton, for the neutral.
I think we expected goals, didn't we, before the game? Both teams like to play on the front foot, and Southampton away from home have been absolutely brilliant this season.
Well, they have, because in fact you look at their record on their travels this season, and they've failed to score only at 2 venues, Anfield and Turf Moor. You're quite correct. You've been doing your homework, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah.
So it's actually one of the best records away from home. I think they'll probably just edge ahead of Chelsea now in that respect of scoring goals or scoring in matches away from home. It's 16 times now that they found the net.
What were the 2 1-0ers for Southampton, did you say? I remember Letizia scoring here once.
No, it was... Was that a
1-0er? Against Taibbi, remember that?
No, I don't.
Yes, you must do.
I struggled to remember last week, let alone anything.
You must remember Taibbi.
Was that when he made the mistake?
Yeah, through his legs.
Right, okay, yeah. I couldn't have told you that was against Southampton. I remember the mistake. Couldn't have told you who was against. Tadic got 1 goal in the winner, and then there was a Charlie Austin. It was a header at this end towards our right-hand side late on when they won by 1-0. I think he came off the bench that day.
For someone who can't remember, you remember that pretty well.
It's only because it's written down in front of me. It was their last win here in 2016. Manchester United coming forward. Although I was here that day, so that actually helps. Manchester United lead by 2-1. Running away from the penalty area, Martial. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Flicks it out towards Matic on the left. Forward ball. Matic then gets it back. Fernandes is close to him. Rashford lays it out towards Shaw. First time cross from the left-hand side. Hasn't been dealt with by Bednarek. Then there was a little bit of a stumble by Wan-Bissaka, and that allowed Redmond to come back to help out. And along with Bertrand, Southampton will clear through Redmond downfield. But again, a lapse in concentration. They were lucky it went to Wan-Bissaka and not Mason Greenwood.
He just took a heavy touch, didn't he? And was slightly hesitant. Wan-Bissaka.
Just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester United lead by the odd goal in 3. Bruno Fernandes out to Shaw. Shaw finds Rashford, diagonal ball. Bruno Fernandes going into the challenge, but he loses out to Bednarek. Nice little touch inside from Armstrong. Ward-Prowse has got a little bit of space on the right-hand side. He plays it back to Walker-Peters, and Walker-Peters sees his ball bounce off the chest, the sturdy chest of Harry Maguire.
Yeah, they're just mopping things up now, United. Southampton can't really get out. Foul on Pogba. Since they got the second goal, they have been the better team, United, the more dominant team, pushing Southampton back.
And here is Wan-Bissaka midway through the Southampton half on the right-hand side. It's a forward ball towards Greenwood, but it's marshalled out of play for a goal kick. Why is it, though, that sometimes goals can change games the way that they have?
That's momentum, isn't it? There's a baffling start from United. You know, we talked about the record, unbeaten in 17. They're coming into this game full of confidence with what was at stake, with Leicester losing and Chelsea. What an opportunity, and for them to start so slowly, but fair play to them with the response. And the front line, so impressive, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, they're the first side since Liverpool in 1987 to win 4 successive league games by at least a margin of 3 goals. Mind you, in 1987, Liverpool scored 4 goals in each game. Again, I can't remember that, Chris. As Pogba forward, Martial, referee's played the advantage. There's a foul earlier on by Greenwood. Manchester United have progressed downfield. Rashford left-hand side of the penalty area. Martial couldn't take it in his stride. Break maybe for Southampton. 4 minutes to go to half-time. The half has flown by. The game for a neutral has certainly lived up to the expectation of it being an enjoyable watch.
What I like about Fernandes as well, he likes to play in that 10 role, but he will run in behind. He will get in behind the back line. He did so on that occasion. But behind the Southampton back line, it was just misunderstanding. It was him and Martial.
You wouldn't say he's a 10, would you? He's more of an 8, isn't he?
Well, I'm baffled with numbers these days, whether you're a 6, an 8, a 10. We've got a 21, a 22, a 14.
Yep. The highest one is Bednarek with 35 of those who...
What's a 35?
I think you'll find it's a Polish defender. McCarthy to take the goal kick for Southampton. 3 minutes to go to the break. Manchester United leading Southampton by 2-1. McCarthy hits it right-footed. Gets a lot of distance on it. Pogba beats Ings in the air, taken high on the chest by Armstrong. Interception from Bruno Fernandes, volleyed forward by Bednarek, wearing 35, just in case you missed it. Poor clearance from Maguire, struck the legs of Armstrong, came back towards Maguire, who'll run forward of that penalty area on that far side, the left, and he's able to carry the ball almost towards the penalty area. Back towards it goes to Shaw. Hardly saw any of the ball. They didn't have that sustained passing that they are in the early stages, Manchester United.
And I think it's fair to say that Southampton aren't pressing with the same intent and urgency.
McCarthy. Oh, that was risky. He just dragged it away from Martial at the right time. Cleared downfield. Adams is battling for the ball. He's pleading towards the referee. Not given, though, by referee Chris Kavanagh.
Well, we saw Tim Krul, didn't we? Norwich against Arsenal. Something similar. And didn't get away with it with Aubameyang. McCarthy threw the dummy. He did get away with that one, but...
Pogba back to Lindelof. Southampton still will press. He gives the ball away under pressure. Southampton again benefit from that, and then Matic makes the challenge on Adams. Bruno Fernandes is being held by Ward-Prowse. Free kick.
Yeah, yellow card.
That'll be a yellow card for James Ward-Prowse, the Southampton captain.
Yeah, country dancing that from James Ward-Prowse, and Fernandez didn't let him get away.
That press, that intensity from Southampton, though, has caused United problems when they tried to play out from the back.
It certainly has. They're not doing it to the same extent which they did in the early stages. But that's been a feature of their play all season. In the early part of the season, they did get picked off on a number of occasions.
Inside the last 60 seconds of this first half, Southampton with Armstrong. Diagonal ball to Ings. Armstrong's continued his run. Ings will come on the infield. Central position finds Ward-Prowse, lays it off first time to Romeo, opens it up towards Walker-Peters, right corner of the penalty area, cross takes a deflection and loops behind for a corner kick.
Again, they work something. I have to say, Stuart Armstrong has been excellent in this first half for Southampton. Got the goal, but some of his link-up play has been really, really good.
There will be 3 minutes of added on time, which we're about to go into here, with Manchester United having that slender lead. There's been another goal at Wembley, will be crossed there in a minute after the corner kick that's going to be taken by James Ward-Prowse. So we start those 3 minutes of added on time now. In it comes, and it was aimed towards Ings, and he's headed it over. So it was Oxford United 0, Wycombe 1. Who has scored? John Southall.
Oxford have equalised, Oxford 1, Wycombe 1. Mark Sykes on the right hand side, you have to say, and even he surely would admit it was a cross, went straight over the keeper and nestled in the bottom left hand corner. They deserve the equaliser. Oxford 1, Wycombe 1.
Thank you, John. In added on time here, it's Manchester United who still lead by 2-1. It's another corner kick for Southampton, headed away this time by Pogba. He attacked that with plenty of purpose inside the 6-yard area. Armstrong plays the ball down the right-hand side. Ward-Prowse with a flat delivery. It's going to come out to Redmond on the edge of the area. Redmond plays it in towards Che Adams, and then the interception was well read by Lindelof, just sliding across to nick it away from Che Adams.
Yeah, excellent from the Swede. I just wondered, seen Redmond in that position, just shift the ball. It's on the edge of the box on his favoured right foot. Have a go yourself. Elected to try to slot the ball to Adams. Quite entitled to shoot from there. Well read from Lindelof.
Despite being behind, Southampton will have so much positive thoughts and encouragement, I would imagine, to try and still salvage something from this game, the way that they have played in this half. But Stevens, forward ball towards Ings, in between Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, and it goes away from him and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, busy there, Ings, wasn't he, on the shoulder, making a diagonal run, trying to get in behind Lindelof, but well tracked by Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka. Ball rolls up, runs out of play.
He will have reason to be optimistic still, won't he, Hasenhüttl?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, certainly of late, he knows that his team is very capable of scoring a goal. They've shown enough in this first half, not only with the goal, but with some of their play. The worry is, you want to go toe-to-toe with United. They do have players who can exploit, and we've seen Rashford on 1 or 2 occasions. Great pace, hasn't he? I haven't seen much of Greenwood in this first half.
No. In fact, there's just swapped now. Greenwood's now playing on the left and Rashford on the right. I don't know whether that's just a temporary switch, but primarily in this first half, it's been Rashford on the left and Greenwood on this near side as Manchester United play from left to right in their red shirts and white shorts as Martial picks up the ball and runs into trouble, and that will be a free kick to Southampton that they want to take quickly. Not too much sure how. We're almost up for added on time. Bednarek will come forward. Bertrand going on ahead of him on the left-hand side. Redmond gives it back towards the Polish defender, able to turn over the halfway line, flights it forward, right-footed, no way through for Adams, and kicks on through to goalkeeper David De Gea, and there is the half-time whistle. Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. Southampton deservedly taking the lead through Armstrong after 12 minutes, but Manchester United with 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes, quickly turning it around. Rashford and Martial. So Mark Chapman, Manchester United 2, Southampton 1.
It's interesting you said in commentary that there will be people who maybe went to the toilet with Southampton 1-0 up and came back Manchester United 2-1 up. That was exactly me, actually, during...
Well, you know what's really funny about that?
Yeah.
Is that I nearly joked that it was 3 minutes and someone will be thinking, well, how long does it take to go to the loo? And I was actually going to make a joke saying, well, it would take you 3 minutes if you went to the toilet in Mark Chapman's house.
Oh, behave yourself. Well, you know what it's like. If you're actually at work, you don't have, you know, but if you're at home, you can be a bit more relaxed when going to the toilet. Anyhow, back to the football, because until United equalised, Chris, Southampton were comfortable and their tactics were spot on and their press was causing United all sorts of problems.
Yeah, said before the game, this is how they play. They didn't come here to sit back. They don't go anywhere to sit back. They get on the front foot, they press, they play with great intensity and organisation with the press. They won every second ball early on, and United were very, very slow out of the blocks. Pogba, ponderous on the ball, got caught, and it's really well worked Redmond into Armstrong, who took a lovely first touch. He's been very, very good as of late, Armstrong. He's had a superb first half and put Southampton ahead, and you're thinking, blimey, you know, will United respond? And they didn't for a while, but when they did, I mean, a devastating 1-2. Martial did superbly well for the first goal. I just wondered whether there was a possibility of a penalty had he not fed the ball to Rashford and him scored. I do think he was fouled. Good finish from Rashford. And then Southampton, I think Ralph Hasenhüttl, truthfully, will be really disappointed with the defending from Kyle Walker-Peters with the second goal. You don't show Martial on his right side.
What we talked about pre-match, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We know Rashford's devastating in that situation, and Martial as well. I mean, I can think of so many goals he's scored from that position. Devastating finish, though, and then United have really controlled it, but there's still enough there for Southampton.
The United first goal, whilst I don't want to take you down the squad numbers chat again, but he looked a proper 9, didn't he, Martial? Well, in the build-up to Rashford.
And it's an interesting one. Has he solved a problem? His goals tally this season, was he 16 or 17 now, Deno, I think, Martial. But just the fact of that centre-forward play, that focal point, the guy who can hold it in.
21.
In the league.
Oh,
come on, let's do this right. I think it's 17 in the league.
Well, I just do overall. It's 21 overall. That's the main thing.
We're talking about the Premier League.
Well, it's not 17. Well, it might be 17.
Oh, it was 16 had 1 is 17 in my book.
So why do you always have to complicate matters? This is my break.
16 had 1.
I'm having my break. I've just commentated. This is the bit where Mark Chapman's going to work.
16 had 1 isn't complicated. 17 he's got Chapman's. But anyway, the centre forward point, you know, you're absolutely spot on. You know, is he going to be the all-rounder? I mean, they're so adaptable, the three of them up top. We saw Rashford and Greenwood change sides at the end of the half. The three of them can play anywhere.
I think he's... I mean, if you look on social media at the moment, as well as there being a lot of love for Ian, if you also look, there are a lot of people baffled that VAR didn't take a more serious look at Oriol Romeo's challenge on Mason Greenwood.
I haven't really had a good look at
that. There's the point, actually, in that it was a very brief look, and if you actually look back on it, I mean, it doesn't look a great challenge. That would be all.
Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose, and the question is, if VAR have seen that, then why aren't they acting? Are we surprised about that after what we've seen in the last 7 days?
No.
I mean, it's been calamitous, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's a polite way to put it. I shall leave the two of you to build on your friendship, and we'll be back for the second half.
Don't worry, if we go to the toilet, it won't take us 3 minutes.
Manchester United lead Southampton by 2-1. Other sports stories around today. Manchester City say they welcome the ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sport to overturn their 2-year ban from European competition. They have been cleared of disguising equity funds as sponsorship contributions, but have been handed a reduced fine of €10 million for failing to cooperate with UEFA. Sheffield United say they'll support David McGoldrick after he was racially abused on social media. The club shared an image from McGoldrick's Instagram account showing the abuse, with the player writing, 2020 and this is life. And Washington's NFL team have confirmed that they will drop the word Redskins from their name. No word yet on what they will replace it with. Let's talk rugby union next. Big transfer news in the Premiership today, with the England centre Manitou Alangi joining Sale after leaving Leicester. Let's talk to our correspondent Chris Jones. Evening, Chris.
Evening, Mark.
You're laughing already, aren't you?
Well, yeah. Your boys have pulled another big coup out the bag, haven't they?
Well, so, I mean, the first question is, those who have listened regularly on a Saturday over the years, does this make it more likely that you might base yourself at a Sale game at some point?
I think we'll be permanently based at a Sale game the way it's going. Second in the league, the Currys, Van Rensburg, Faf de Klerk, and then Manitou Alangi. I mean, he's building a serious squad, Steve Diamond.
So I suppose one of the other questions might be then, why Sale for Tuolangi? I mean, why Tuolangi for Sale is fairly obvious. Why do you think he's picked Sale?
Well, I don't think he had a huge number of options, because he decided to leave Leicester for whatever reason, and money's a factor there because Leicester were trying to push through pay cuts, amended contracts for everyone. He was one of 5 that didn't want to take those deals. Now, in that sense, it sounds like it's about money. But on the other hand, he's going to be paid less at Sale than the money knocked off his huge Leicester deal. So part of it might be a contract length. Leicester are maybe trying to tie him into a 2, 3, 4-year deal. This way, he's basically at Sale for a year, completes the current campaign, and then plays the 2020-21 season, which is scheduled to finish in July. And he didn't have too many options abroad once the RFU made it clear that France or Japan wouldn't be an option if he wanted to continue playing for England. So I think he would have had a look at all those options, realised he had to stay domestic if he wanted to keep playing for England and make that Lions tour maybe as well next summer. And then Sale, I think, would have been a club, because of the way Steve Diamond operates, he doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth. If he sees a Mark Wilson, he sees a Chris Ashton, he sees a Marlon Yard, who all might have a reason why they want to leave a club, whether the club had been relegated or they've fallen out of favour, wherever they were. Diamond's one of those directors of rugby who will make these deals happen. He's ambitious. He's desperate to get more bums on seats at the AJ Bell. They're moving to a new ground soon as well. So I think it makes sense for all parties, really, this one. And if Tuolangi is eyeing up that big payday in Japan or France, he can have one more year playing for England, sort of a season and a half in the Premiership because of the way the structure is at the moment, and then maybe take that big pay deal sometime in the next year or two.
And as you touched on the financials then, given everything that's going on in the world, not just in rugby union, the current climate, Sale have got themselves a good deal here.
100%. I mean, it's been chaos across the league, chappers. It's been absolute chaos. Some clubs worse than others, because everyone's just been trying to get everyone at their squads to sign new amended contracts. Now, a lot of the time, players are going to have to take a pay cut, but the carrot the clubs are offering is a longer deal. So the club would go, okay, it's 15% off for whatever, but you therefore kind of 2-3 more years on your deal than currently. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but I think clearly Tuolangi's got to a point here. He needed a club pretty urgently, needed one domestically. Sale would have gone, look, here's your offer, continue playing for England. That's good money as well. And he's gone for it. Now, there's potentially a legal dispute in the offing with Leicester Tigers because of their potential breach of contract. That's, again, something for the courts if the player and club want to go down that route. And at the moment, no suggestion that's going to happen. So, yeah, I think just so much has been going on behind the scenes in the Premiership at the moment. It's been pretty hard to keep up. But if you're a Sale fan, you're just looking forward to seeing Manitou Alangi running out at the AJ Bell.
Oh, absolutely, and I saw you. I saw on your Instagram that you had. I think Emma may have asked you this question earlier this morning, which is, does this give Sale a chance at the Premiership now?
I think they're well in the hunt. Look, they're second in the league. When the season resumes on the 14th of August, they go to Harlequins. It'll be a big statement if they can beat Quins on their own patch, and they've got every chance. And I think what we've seen throughout this period, we can maybe extrapolate this across business, across industry. Clubs that are being run well, I think, will emerge from the pandemic, not unscathed, but they could emerge stronger because they have a settled playing squad, a settled boardroom, and a harmonious tie-up between the board and the players. The clubs that were struggling pre-pandemic, I think, are only going to go into a bigger hole. So I wonder whether when we do resume, all being well in mid-August, we could see a real split. And the likes of Sale are certainly in that upper half as we speak.
Thank you very much, Chris. Chris Jones, our rugby union correspondent on the news that Manitou Alangi has joined Sale today. Back to the football. Manchester United lead Southampton 2-1, second half on the way. This time next year, both clubs could be playing. Leeds, whose 16-year exile from the top flight, could come to an end this week. If Brentford drop points against Preston on Wednesday and then Leeds beat Barnsley 24 hours later, they will be up. Marcelo Bielsa's side took a huge step towards the Premier League with this last-minute winner against Swansea yesterday.
Click out to Costa on the right wing, and Leeds are getting forward.
It's good. Aileen's overlapping.
He's overlapped. What a chance here. Aileen puts it back. Chance here for Hernandez. Hernandez!
Get in! Get in!
Pablo Hernandez scores a vital goal in the race for the Premier League on his old stomping ground. What scenes here in the Principality. Leeds United have won it at the death. A massive 3 points. How close is the Premier League now?
Adam Pope commentating. He joins us now. He had Noel wheeling alongside him. Is he all right? That's the first question.
My eardrums aren't. I'll tell you that, Mark, after that. But he's all right. He's getting excited, Mark. It's all very close. Okay,
so but he's allowed to get excited now, isn't it? I mean, I know Leeds fans will now curse me, but come on. You're allowed. He's allowed to be excited now, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking back to important goals, I suppose if you go back 30 years, of course, Leeds were promoted from, the old second division, if you like, same year that Liverpool won the title, of course, and Gordon Strachan scored a really important goal against Leicester to keep the promotion hopes on track. And I just wonder if Pablo Hernandez's goal is going to be looked back upon as that significant as well come the end of the season if they get the 4 points that they need, Mark.
Does it feel calmer this year? I mean, does it now actually feel like it will happen for you?
Yes, it does. It didn't at one point. They had a long sort of 10-game spell prior to COVID I actually remember saying, are the wheels coming off their promotion hopes? And they lost at Forest. And then they went on a fantastic run ahead of the suspension of proceedings. And then they lost, of course, first game back. It was tense last week, Mark, when they played Stoke, because just the sort of game that traditionally Leeds have lost at a crucial time. They won it comfortably in the end, obviously 5-0. It felt a little bit less tense on Sunday, and they've overcome, what is essentially a promotion rival in Swansea who are chasing the sort of playoff. So it's feeling better. However, Leeds fans, as you know, they will not be happy until this is done, because the most Leedsy thing is to go and not do this now, not get promoted, isn't it?
Yes, it is. They've got 84. West Brom have got 81. Brentford, who are absolutely flying, have got 78. But I mean, it's even the fact that they've got the buffer over second place West Brom as well, really, that will calm Leeds fans, surely.
Yeah, and that's the difference to last year, of course. There was a spectacular implosion, was there not? And at the time, they were sort of in the West Brom position, trying to keep ahead of Sheffield United, which with 4 games to go, Mark, they were 3 points clear, all games the same. Goal difference was an issue, and in the end, obviously, Leeds had a spectacularly bad set of results over the Easter weekend, losing to Wigan at home and then Brentford away. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that. And, they've put 25 wins together. I mean, incredible. They play phenomenal football. They are the best team in the division. And for that alone, you think logic tells you they will go up and hopefully go up as champions as well. So it does feel different. But you just know with Leeds that you just got to get it over the line, because anything can happen, as we've seen this season too.
They'll go, but I mean, they'll go up playing great football, and they'll go up if they go up as champions. They'll go up as the best team. They'll go up with a poignancy as well, won't they? Actually, after this year, Norman Hunter, Trevor Cherry, and of course Jack Charlton this weekend, all have died.
Yeah, Mark, it's been. Remember, this is their centenary season as well, and they marked it with real class, and a lot of those figures that you met were there at the centenary dinner, before in October, before these terrible events. So for Leeds United, who never do things easy and have suffered all sorts of issues, as you know, in the past, this has been a particularly difficult period over COVID because of the loss of those legends. And you are talking legends of the game, particularly with Jack Charlton and Norman Hunter and Trevor Cherry, who in the West Yorkshire area, not just Leeds, but Huddersfield and Bradford, is remembered and revered really, really fondly. So I think the difficulty, Mark, has been people have not been able to pay their respects and they've not been able to celebrate the success. So it's been a really difficult time for everybody.
Always good to talk to you, Adam. Thank you very much, Adam Pope, BBC's Leeds commentator. Toughs and Vaughan are at 10 this evening, looking back at that her first Test defeat for England against the West Indies. Back to Old Trafford, Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. I'm going to cross my legs for the next 45 minutes. Here are Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis. Timekeeping
needs to improve.
Yeah, he's late coming back, isn't he?
I know, very sloppy that. Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. We're already back underway. And now the team has made a change as the early ball played forward is cut out by Bednarek, and it goes out for a Manchester United throw. So De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, Pogba, Matic and Fernandes the midfield three, and then Greenwood, Martial and Rashford are the front three. Red shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing from right to left as we look attacking the Stretford end against the Southampton side in their change strip, the yellow and charcoal grey tops and the yellow shorts, with McCarthy in goal, a back four of Walker, Peters, Bednarek, Stevens and Bertrand, Armstrong, Ward, Prowse, Romeo and Redmond, Adams and Ings. As Southampton, who took the lead after 12 minutes through Armstrong, and then with Rashford and Martial, in a matter of minutes it was quickly not only wiped out but then overturned, as Manchester United currently lie third in the table, looking to go above Chelsea and Leicester City, with just 3 games left after this with the top four, and they're aiming for a 6th consecutive win. It would be their best run actually since Solskjaer took over, when you go back to when he was the caretaker. What was it, 14 wins out of 19 before he was given the job in March of last year in that 3-year deal.
Well, with what's at stake for United, they need to win, need to see this one through now. No slip-ups, got themselves back in front after going behind.
Penalty at Wembley, straight to John Southall.
It's Oxford 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1, but Wycombe have the penalty. Onyedema absolutely clattered by the goalkeeper, Simon Eastwood. Simon Eastwood, the hero, remembering that semi-final second leg, bounces up and down on his line. Joe Jacobson, left-footed, and scores! Wycombe Wanderers, who have never been in the second tier of English football, are now 12 minutes away. Oxford 1, Wycombe 2.
What a job that Gareth Ainsworth has done at Wycombe Wanderers. So they're very, very close there to promotion. Oxford 1, Wycombe 2. As soon as that's over, that was a 7:30 start at Wembley. We'll bring you news here on 5 Live as Manchester United give the ball away. Fernandes, Bednarek overruns it, makes sure he gets there first. Was he being held by Wan-Bissaka? Romeo takes over.
Same setup, done over both sides, isn't it, with Southampton at 4-4-2. That narrow 4 in the middle of the park, trying to get a 4v3. An overload in there. United 4-2-3-1.
Armstrong forward for Southampton, finds Redmond. Redmond just outside the D. Redmond shoots. Redmond just wide with a right-footed shot off. Can't have been that far away from the left-hand post as we look. 2-1 still to United.
Really close. Armstrong again. He hasn't given a ball away this evening. From the right-hand side, spots Redmond on the left, and he always likes to come in on his right foot, his favourite right foot, shifts it 20 yards out and just pulls the shot past De Gea's right hand post, probably a yard wide, but opportunity that for Southampton.
Probably the one area that you would say about Nathan Redmond that he needs to improve on is his goal scoring return. Only scored 5 goals for Southampton. Career best last season with a tally of 9, but it was a promising position for the away side early in the second half, as there is a Southampton player down. That's Stevens, who's down and getting treatment from the physios.
They do have Vestergaard back on the bench, but looks in a bit of pain there, Stevens. He lands awkwardly, goes up for a challenge alongside Rashford, and he lands, and then Rashford stands on his ankle as well.
It reminds me, whilst I can just hear the added effects as you were talking, or in between the little pauses there, and it reminds me that on Sports Extra, if you want the clean version without the added effects, 5 Live Sports Extra will have the commentary, but without the added effects. And whilst he's hobbling, he's back on his feet, feeling the effects of that challenge is Stevens. And also, just to say, our next commentary is on 5 Live Wednesday, Manchester City Bournemouth at 6, followed by Arsenal Liverpool at 8:15, and on Thursday Everton Aston Villa at 6 and Crystal Palace Manchester United at Selhurst Park at 8:15.
Well, you don't have to listen to Man City Bournemouth. You've already said that Man City have won that one earlier.
Listen, Manchester City plays such attacking football, it might still be a very entertaining listen.
True.
Here we are watching Manchester United, but it's Southampton who are forward. Adams, far side the left, Romeo in field, Ward-Prowse. Walker-Peters is in space on this near side, but they go back to the other side, the left, towards Redmond, just in from the touchline, level the penalty area, plays it back. Romeo, Ward-Prowse has made the run forward. Armstrong with his back to goal, takes it, pulls it back. Sight of goal maybe for Danny Ings. Ings still going, gets the shot away, blocked, headed away then by Maguire, who continues to come across. Was there half a challenge on Armstrong, and then it's scooped clear by Maguire.
That's Armstrong again, causing problems. He drifted from the right-hand side into the left-hand side of the Manchester United penalty area, fed the ball back to Danny Ings, who I wonder whether he could have got a shot off quicker. Gets blocked and goes out again, and Armstrong takes a tumble there.
This game is still far from safe from a Manchester United point of view. They'll certainly need another goal. They'll want that 2-goal cushion as it's lifted forward by Ward-Prowse, cut out by Shaw, gets the return ball back from Rashford, forward now to Fernandes. Rashford's continued his run, it's behind him though, and Romeo coming in, sliding back to win it back was Greenwood, forward now to Rashford. The referee has played the advantage. Rashford in the penalty area, tries to place it with his right foot and closed down by Bednarek and behind for a corner kick to the home side, and a yellow card was just shown there as well. That was to Stevens.
It was really good from Greenwood to win the ball back, and Fernandes releasing Rashford, left-hand side of the box. Bednarek did well to snuff the danger out. So Fernandes and Stevens having words. Stevens unhappy about the initial challenge, and then he wipes out Fernandes. Half a chance that for Rashford.
Take away the 2 central defenders. They're not the biggest of sides, Southampton. The corner's taken short now. It's whipped in with real venom from Fernandes, and it strikes, I think it was Danny Ings, and it's gone behind for another corner kick. Plenty of whip on that, wasn't there?
So much movement on the ball, both feet off the floor when he whipped that in from the left-hand side, right-footed. Such good delivery, hasn't he, Fernandes?
Bruno Fernandes then trots across to the other side. Corner kick from the right-hand side, doesn't beat the first man. Headed out by Armstrong. It'll go out of play for a Manchester United throw. Pogba will actually leave this for Wan-Bissaka to run forward. Slams the ball down into the ground. A bouncing ball that's collected by Wan-Bissaka to take the throw on that far side. Attacking the Stretford end in the second half, Manchester United leading by 2-1. No change to those 3 first-half goals that we witnessed. Maguire to Shaw, back inside his own half, forward to Greenwood towards Shaw. Interesting that they had swapped late on in the first half. Greenwood to the left, and they've maintained that position when you think that he started out on the right hand side. Martial still going through the middle.
Yeah, just going back to that incident in the United box, Stuart Armstrong, I think he went down a little bit too easily there. Deno may have to throw him in Ali Bruce Ball's simulation game at the weekend.
In fact, they've just rotated again. Martial's now on the right, Greenwood through the middle, and Rashford on the left. So an interchanging front three. Martial on that right-hand side now. Helped out by Wan-Bissaka, closes down the attempted clearance, and it will go out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Southampton. And we've been playing for nearly 10 minutes into the second half. Doesn't seem to have got the same rhythm or tempo as it had at the start of the first half, this second period.
No, I think so. I think that cagey game at the moment. Of course, the next goal absolutely crucial. United want to see this one through, and Southampton essentially have nothing to play for. But they're giving it a real go, aren't they?
They are. Here is Rashford for Manchester United. Martial and Greenwood as Rashford goes for goal himself from, what's that, 28 yards out from goal? Another yellow card has been shown.
30 yards, that, isn't it? It's Fernandes. He wanted a free kick given for a handball before it dropped to Rashford. Once again, so much movement on the ball from Rashford. It's just there. Hits the ball into Kyle Walker-Peters, who raises his arm. He gets so much dip, doesn't he, on the shot, Rashford, from 30-odd yards out.
Walker-Peters was actually shown a yellow card as well.
It was a deliberate handball.
Yeah, but again, credit to the referee, Chris Kavanagh. Let the game flow. It was interesting that both Martial and Greenwood had made runs into the left-hand side of the penalty area, but Rashford only had one thing on his mind. So that's 3 Southampton players who've been booked now in this game as they trail 2-1. 11 minutes into the second half. Walker-Peters to take a throw, though, for Southampton on this near side. How long's left at Wembley? What's the latest? John Southall.
3.5 minutes to play. Oxford 1, Wycombe 2. Wycombe are inching closer, but a great chance for Oxford. Cross from the right there was Matt Taylor, 6 yards out, straight at Ryan Allsop in the Wycombe goal. Wycombe hanging on. Oxford 1, Wycombe 2.
We'll be back there very, very soon. Thank you, John. BBC Radio 5 Live here at Old Trafford at the start of another busy week of live football. 2 games to bring you on Wednesday, 2 more on Thursday, and of course the FA Cup semi-finals to look forward to at the weekend, to be staged at Wembley. Manchester United, you think, obviously got to get past Chelsea, but they've still got the Europa League to look forward to. Know that they're already through to the quarter-finals with that comfortable first leg lead that they had over Lask, and they've got either Copenhagen or Istanbul Başakşehir to play in the quarter-finals.
Well said. Copenhagen knocked out Celtic, but they weren't particularly strong. Celtic missed a trick with that one. A lot to look forward to if you're a United fan.
Very much so. A club that is gathering momentum.
And they've got Palace before. Have they got Palace before the weekend?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
It's one of the commentaries on Thursday night. You'll want to listen to that.
Yeah. Just wonder whether he'll rotate on Thursday.
I don't think so. I mean, this is the 5th time that he's named the same side in the Premier League. It's the first time, by the way, since 1993 that a Manchester United side has gone 5 league games unchanged. But I think he knows his best team.
Yeah, I think he knows his best team, but with what's at stake, big FA Cup semi? No.
That poses the question. You think of the rewards.
I think you'll find I'm right and you'll be wrong.
Well, I think you'll find that that's always the case as far as you're concerned. As Wan-Bissaka comes forward over the halfway line and nudges into the path of Mason Greenwood, who's now on that right-hand side. Martial through the middle and Rashford is back out on the left. Bruno Fernandes out towards Wan-Bissaka. First-time ball might come back towards Wan-Bissaka, and indeed it does. Right-hand side, 10 yards up behind him is Greenwood. The return from Bruno Fernandes was cut out. Southampton defending well. And that was a foul by Pogba, and that'll be a free kick to the away side, who still trail by 2-1.
Not everything's come off for Fernandes this evening, but he's always trying something, isn't he? Always probing, doesn't take the easy option. A little bit careless with that last pass, but he's been the difference, hasn't he, to this United team. That link man doesn't play safe.
Plays it early though as well, doesn't he? Crucially forward. He's brought so much verve to United's attacking play. As Chris Kavanagh blows his whistle and a United player has gone down. It was Lindelof
with the elbow there. Adams, eyes on the ball. He doesn't throw the elbow. It's unfortunate. Catches Lindelof, holds his arms up. Wonder whether they're having a look at this, but it's accidental. These things happen. He's saying eyes on the ball. Jay Adams, I think both players' eyes on the ball. It's an accident.
The views of a Premier League title winner Chris Sutton on BBC Radio 5 Live as Manchester United take the free kick, and it's hammered downfield by Lindelof, one bounce, and it's into the arms of Alex McCarthy, all in pink, who throws it out towards Stevens, his central defender ahead of him. Chips it long, right-footed. Maguire gets himself in front of Ings, picked up now by Adams, bounces off Pogba. Pogba has given away a free kick to the away side, just outside the centre circle. Ward-Prowse looked like he thought about taking it quickly and now waits, as Adams is only getting himself forward alongside Danny Ings. Bertrand out on that far side, the left. He's now an option for Redmond. He passes the ball to Bertrand, cut out though inside the penalty area by Matic, and played forward early by Pogba. Greenwood on that far side, and Bednarek comes across and puts it across out of play for a throw on that far side for the home team.
There's a quick turnover there. Southampton getting Bertrand forward, Redmond in off the line, cross cut out, and United have that pace to hurt Southampton when they are breaking out.
Lindelof midway through his own half, just in from the right touch line towards David De Gea. Gets it out from his feet, plays it forward. There are a couple of changes in the offing for Manchester United. I can see Fred putting on his red playing shirt, and I think that's Juan Mata as well, who's going to be coming on. No, he's just putting on his orange bib, his luminous orange bib. So Mata's going to warm up, but Fred is getting stripped for action. So changes for Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka makes ground on that far side. Diagonal ball taken to Greenwood in his feet, and then manages to play it behind him. Bruno Fernandes hits it first time, forces Rashford out wide on this left-hand side. Rashford does well. Oh, that was a nasty tumble down the bank by Rashford. He kept the ball in play, succeeded in that respect, then ran out of playing surface, and Southampton are able to bring the ball away. Ward-Prowse to Redmond. Bertrand struggling to keep up with Redmond, who runs forwards. There's no width on that left-hand side as a result. Redmond will hold on to the ball, place it in field. Walker-Peters is getting forward though on the right-hand side. Armstrong now to Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters inside the penalty area, across the face of goal as well. And it goes all the way through a crowd of players and out for a goal kick.
That's all it takes. Really good from Redmond. Didn't force the issue, wasn't on down the left-hand side. Came back on the inside to Armstrong, who was patient. Popped the ball out to Walker-Peters on the right-hand side. Faces Shaw up. There's a little shift, doesn't go past him, shifts the ball and fires it across through Luke Shaw's legs. No takers from Southampton.
I admit to not seeing every Southampton game, but every time I've seen Walker-Peters, he's looked impressive since his loan move from Southampton. It's only his 7th game since he arrived on loan. But he gets forward, doesn't he?
He does, but he'd be disappointed with the second goal. Martial's goal letting him on the inside. And here comes Paul Pogba stomping off and Fred on.
I know that you always like to think that you're right, but that might be with one eye on Thursday, where Solskjaer might look to try and name an unchanged side with Pogba being taken off at this stage in the game. 63 minutes played.
What I'd say to that is there's no point gloating about that now, is there?
Of course, you're not one to gloat, are you? Shane Long's going to be coming on. Southampton are going to be making a change as well, and it's Che Adams who's gone off. So Shane Long to replace the birthday boy, Che Adams. We've been playing for just over 63 minutes here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and still Manchester United lead by 2-1.
Yeah, not really many happy returns for Che Adams this evening. No real clear-cut opportunities. You know what you're going to get from Shane Long. Endeavour, got good pace, doesn't give defenders a minute's peace. There's that threat where he can get in behind.
At least he didn't receive a card, unlike his teammates Jack Stevens, Ward-Prowse and Walker-Peters, who've all been shown yellow. Redmond to Ward-Prowse, forward, runs into Wan-Bissaka, gets a free kick.
He's got away with that, hasn't he?
Yeah, was looking for that. Got it though.
He's clever, yeah, I like him. Ward-Prowse, versatile player, playing in his favourite position. Has played at right back at times this season.
Yes, he has, yes.
He's popped the ball past Wan-Bissaka, probably 12 yards beyond him. He's not going to get on the other side of that, and runs into Wan-Bissaka, buys the free kick. Can they create something from a central area need to work an angle in the situation. Southampton players surrounding the referee. Chris Kavanagh having words.
Well, they've got this free kick. It's just a few yards forward of the centre circle. Martial is standing in front of the ball and preventing Southampton from taking it quickly. 65 minutes have been played. Manchester United still lead by 2-1. Ward-Prowse is standing over the free kick, and he just knocks it to his left, to Bertrand. It's a long, diagonal, left-footed ball. Stevens brings it under control. Going out towards the corner flag on the right-hand side. Behind him is Armstrong. Ward-Prowse now takes it over. First touch and then strikes the body of Matic. Rebounds towards Armstrong, and it's laid back into Southampton half. Full time at Wembley, John Southall.
Wycombe have done it. Oxford 1, Wycombe 2. There are Oxford players draped all over the field, and there are Wycombe players celebrating in the rain at Wembley. Joe Jacobson, with a penalty, has put Wycombe into the Championship, into the second tier for the first time in their history. Oxford had their chances, but Wycombe are up.
What a remarkable story. And Gareth Ainsworth taking Wycombe into the Championship with that 2-1 victory in the League One playoff final. Here it's the same scoreline, but in favour of Manchester United as we approach the midway point of the second half. So that means we'll be having a drinks break very, very soon, as Luke Shaw comes away with the ball, nicks it back towards Rashford, back towards Shaw. Didn't do him any favours, and Shaw has to just skip out of the way as the clearance, and it comes towards Maguire on this near side. Matic on the halfway line, under pressure from Ings. Matic then leaves it. The ball played then by Lindelof out towards Maguire on the left-hand side. Over the halfway line, Maguire dropping back inside his own half, and now to Matic. Matic looks up, left-footed ball, curling out towards Wan-Bissaka. The United right back is midway through the Southampton half. Bruno Fernandes is up with him. He plays it behind him to Fred, the substitute. Fred at walking pace, back with Lindelof. Manchester United trying to maintain the control as they came from behind in this game and lead 2-1. Here is Rashford. Rashford in field. Matic with a bit of space to run forward. Diagonal ball finds Bruno Fernandes. Out it goes towards Wan-Bissaka, almost level with the penalty area. Fernandes gets it back. 30 yards out from goal, forward ball, Greenwood on the stretch, couldn't get there. Bednarik will bring it out. Bednarik's clearance will go a little bit behind Shane Long.
Yeah, once again Fernandes off with the pass there. I know one man in the country who will be really unhappy about that. Ali Bruce Ball has Fernandes in his fantasy team. Don't know, he needs big points for him tonight. He's got him as his captain.
Well, there's still time for Bruno Fernandes to take full advantage of that as Rashford comes forward. He feeds it into the path of Martial. Martial with a cutback. Rashford, excellent covering. Was that Bertrand who just took it away from Rashford, or was that a glaring miss?
I think it was sensational defending from Bertrand. Brilliant link up. Really was good. Down the left-hand side, Rashford pops a little ball into Martial, who'd made a diagonal run, and Martial really clever reverse pass into Rashford's pass from near the byline. Rashford must think he scored it 3 yards out. Bertrand comes from absolutely nowhere and gets a block with his left boot. Well read from Ryan Bertrand.
That was brilliant from Ryan Bertrand. Here the corner's taken pulled back on the left-hand side. Back it goes to Bruno Fernandes. Shaw, left-footed, diagonal, chips the ball towards the far post, and it's over the head of Maguire and out for a goal kick. Southampton are wanting to make another change, but there will be the drinks break now. And it will be Will Smallbone who's going to be coming on, and the player who's going to be coming off is Stuart Armstrong, who's caught your eye tonight.
I'm a little bit surprised at that. I wonder whether there's an injury to Armstrong. Got the goal. Hasn't misplaced a pass this evening. Given Southampton really good impetus in the middle of the park. Just watching that chance again. Superbly worked. Rashford, first of all, got wonderful feet, mesmerising feet. Goes past Walker-Peters with a little nutmeg, and then he's away. But he has that awareness, Marcus Rashford, that weight of pass to release Martial. Martial just sweeps the ball back into his path. Really well worked. Crucial piece of defending from Ryan Bertrand.
Certainly was. It means that they're still in this game, are Southampton. So during the drinks break, that change actually has taken place. Smallbone for Armstrong, and with their stoppage in play, Manchester City, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Liverpool. They kick off at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, and at 8:15, the Arsenal-Liverpool game. Thursday night, Everton Villa at 6, Crystal Palace Manchester United at 8:15.
Where United won't be rotating, according to you, Deno.
Well, we will see, shall we? Are you on duty at...
Yeah. I'm at the big one Thursday. Southampton, Brighton.
Yes. As the game is back underway, and it's McCarthy to take the goal kick. Rashford heads it forward. Stevens.
Must be a handball.
Yep.
Romeo bouncing ball, middle of the park. Is it Martial?
Martial stayed down from the challenge with Stevens. Going to be another stoppage here. The physio's waiting to come on. Chris Kavanagh has just checked on his welfare. I don't think the physio's going to be allowed on just yet. He's taking his time to get back up onto his feet, though, isn't he?
He's holding the back of his head. He took a whack from Stevens. Goes down. On his feet now. It's a really interesting one. Martial in that centre forward role. Is he the answer long term?
Well, here is Rashford going on the outside of Walker-Peters. They've doubled up on him. He has to play it back to Shaw. Manchester United are playing from right to left, attacking the Stretford end. Shaw stayed forward, out to the left touchline. Rashford, the return ball. Shaw in the penalty area, left-hand side. Blocked behind for a corner kick. Shaw's hobbling as well on the after that. Might have just picked up a little bit of a knock, the former Saint.
Clever play, though, down the left-hand side. He just got caught trying to cross the ball in from James Ward-Prowse, but United with the corner. You can see Marcus Rashford is developing into such a wonderful player. Knows when to drive with the ball, knows when to pop the ball off. Lovely weight to his pass as well, hasn't he?
Well, Shaw is still struggling. He was hobbling off the field of play. He hobbled back on, and then he's actually gone to ground about 25 yards out at the minute, outside the penalty area, and the physio is on, tending to Luke Shaw, who was signed from St Mary's. What was it, £27 million after the 67 appearances that he made?
Well, he just as he's crossing the ball in fact, thought Ward-Prowse caught him, but just rolls his ankle. Just goes over. That's an awkward one. That doesn't look good for Luke Shaw. It's his right ankle. Just wonder whether he slipped slightly.
Hope it's nothing too serious. You think last year was his first injury-free season at Manchester United, and he was actually the player of the year as a result of that. And Brandon Williams, they're not going to take any chances with Luke Shaw, so Brandon Williams is going to be coming on. The 20-year-old who's had an excellent breakthrough season, Brandon Williams.
Just asking them to wait. He's actually gone back on.
He actually has gone back
Williams was stripped.
So much so that he's actually called for his tracksuit top to keep himself warm. So he'll just limber up as the ball is in towards the penalty area, and it's hooked clear by Stevens. Maguire had stayed forward in the attack.
Fernandes wanted that. He wanted Maguire to leave that.
Under 17 minutes remaining of normal time. Southampton with Ings able to turn outside the centre circle. He's got options. He plays the ball ahead of him, and on that far side it's across the face of goal by Smallbone, and he was looking for the run of Shane Long. It was cut out by Lindelof behind for a corner kick. Again, Southampton were committing men forward there. Required that intervention from Lindelof.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 Southampton bodies in the box as the ball is whipped in from the left-hand side. Timely from Lindelof in that near post space. Good ball in from Smallbone. Shane Long was waiting 2 yards out to pounce.
They are not going to take any chances with Luke Shaw, so they might not necessarily be unchanged after all at Thursday if Shaw is serious.
Well, that's not good for Luke Shaw. Come back, and he's been getting into his rhythm nicely this season.
If you're a supporter of Chelsea or indeed Leicester City, you'll be hoping that Southampton can conjure up something in the 15 minutes remaining of normal time, because otherwise Manchester United are going third. The race for the top four will intensify. Southampton have a corner kick, far side the left. Ward-Prowse to deliver it, headed away by Maguire, 6 yards out, back out towards Ward-Prowse, plays it behind him. Redmond midway through the Manchester United half on that left touchline, to Bertrand on the halfway line left of the centre circle. It's a high ball out towards Stevens, cleared by the left back, the substitute Williams. Walker-Peters being forced away from goal. Southampton though still have the ball with the Spurs low knee. Behind him is Stevens, just inside his own half, because of the attentions of Rashford. Has to go further back, away towards our left. All in pink is goalkeeper Alex McCarthy, who has started the last 26 games in the Premier League. He's established himself as the Saints' number one since that 9-0 humiliation against Leicester City back in October. And think back to the save that he made very early on. It was a very important one against Martial. And then Southampton taking the lead. They might have thought at that stage it was going to be their night. However, they've got work to do to try and get something from this game as they trail 2-1. Here is Rashford on this near side. Tight behind him is Walker-Peters. And it's a foul, and it's a free kick.
Terrific play. The ball clipped out by De Gea. Rashford back to goal, surrounded by 3 Southampton players. Leans into Walker-Peters, draws the foul, releases the pressure for United. This is a big last however many minutes have we got, Deno, because a draw, United still remain in 5th place with a goal difference.
Yes, they do indeed. They need the win.
Very nervy.
And we've got, in answer to your question, 14 minutes remaining for Southampton to try and get something from this game against a Manchester United side. Southampton have actually lost more matches and conceded more goals against Manchester United than any other side in the Premier League. 26 defeats, and with the result of the 2 goals that they've conceded tonight, 84 goals that they've now conceded in games against Manchester United. But whilst it's still 2-1, although we haven't had as many goalmouth incidents in this second period as we had in the first half.
No, absolutely, but it's still there for Southampton. They'll be hoping to create an opportunity or 2 in these last 13-14 minutes. And you just wonder whether United are going to get a little bit nervous. Now we're getting to the business end of the season. A lot at stake now. It's a top 4 United need for the Champions League.
Southampton. Bruno Fernandes wins it back for Manchester United, releases the ball to Fred. Fred's forward ball. All of a sudden the maybe counter-attack is on. Greenwood looking towards Rashford. Cut out though by Walker-Peters. Good covering. Central area. Headed away. Saw out the danger. Tracking back Walker-Peters. And now with Stevens just forward of the D of his own penalty area. Plays a square ball to Bednarek. Forward. Romeo out towards that far side. Bertrand. Back he goes to McCarthy. The goalkeeper quickly gets it out from his feet to Stevens. Smallbone now takes over. Smallbone out it goes to that left-hand side. Bertrand, forward ball.
Pity, it's a really nice passage of play. They kept the ball well, Southampton. Just the last minute or 2, I think they're beginning to fancy this again. United are looking a bit edgy. But what United do have, they have that threat up top, don't they? Have the power and pace.
Ings coming forward for Southampton. Ward-Prowse, man over is Walker-Peters, right corner of the penalty area. Walker-Peters cuts over the cross. It's cleared then by Brandon Williams after Fred had knocked it back towards him. Martial leaping in the air on the half volley. Fred says to Rashford, you chase that. Stevens will come across. Stevens turns away from Rashford. Under pressure's done well. Rolls it back down the line. Walker-Peters. Williams makes the challenge. Out of play it goes for a Southampton throw. And we've got 11 minutes remaining of normal time. 2-1 United.
Yeah, he did really well there, Jack Stevens. The ball hit in the left-hand channel. Marcus Rashford putting him under pressure. Kept it nicely.
Since the end of August, Manchester United have lost just 1 of 15 home games in the Premier League. They've won 9, they've drawn 5 since Burnley beat them here. Looking to extend this winning run, their unbeaten run. Smallbone forward, Walker-Peters, right corner of the area. Blocked again by Brandon Williams. Again, he got tight, the left back. Good defending.
Yeah, it was good defending. Near a full-back. Stopped the cross. Walker-Peters, little shift on the edge of the 18-yard box, trying to whip the ball in. along that 6-yard line. Goes out for a throw-in off Williams.
McTominay's going to be coming on for Manchester United very, very soon. Daniel James, I think, might well be getting the call as well, as Martial will get away from Stevens, and Martial will carry it forward. A little bit of a slip by Bednarek as Martial now runs at Stevens, and he comes on the inside, and Martial tries to place it right-footed, went for the curler into the top right-hand corner, couldn't keep it down. Goal kick. United still lead 2-1.
Outstanding from Martial. Southampton throwing bodies forward. They'll become exposed to the counter-attack. They've got such good dribblers, United. Martial pinches the ball off Stevens in his own half and just keeps going and going round Bednarek. Faces Stevens up. He'll be disappointed with the finish. Got it on his inside, 18 yards out centrally. Just trying to bend it into that far corner. Well wide of the post.
Daniel James is getting stripped for action as Southampton in the penalty area on the left-hand side. Redmond doesn't use Bertrand as the overlap. Instead, it's a decoy, works over the cross, downward header. Didn't have the power from Shane Long to trouble David De Gea.
They're giving it a go, aren't they? Redmond works the space really well. And Long gets up. He just can't generate the power. No pace on the cross, 10 yards out.
Rashford with a cross. Cut out by Bednarek inside the D of his own penalty area. Diagonal ball is a forward one to Romeo. Ward-Prowse just about helps it on its way towards Redmond. Ings makes the run out towards the left-hand side. Lindelof has gone with him. Redmond's run further down that left-hand side. Ings, though, plays the ball back. It will be that double change that we talked about. McTominay and Daniel James. But still the points are not secure. Still Southampton harbour hopes of getting something from this game with 8 minutes remaining of normal time. Stevens at the back to Bednarek. To the left back Bertrand. Along the ground. Ings on that far side. Infield now to Romeo. The fresh legs of Daniel James. And the counter-attack might well be able to be a good outlet to be utilised for Manchester United. McTominay will give fresh legs in the midfield because, as you say, Southampton are still in the game.
Yeah, the team in the ascendancy at this moment in time. United have got to hang on in there. It's not always going to be easy.
Williams ball inside, cut out by Ward-Prowse. Referee Chris Kavanagh says no, free kick. Looked like Ward-Prowse might have just been fouled there on the edge of the area, but as it was, it's Redmond who has it just outside the centre circle. Still McTominay and James Waite. Redmond. Walker-Peters is venturing forward. He was just looking for to make a run. Instead they switch it out to the left back. High up the pitch is Bertrand. The cross into the penalty area. Flying header away by Lindelof.
He's done well on a couple of occasions, Lindelof. They're under pressure, United now. Got to show some character.
They are under pressure with 7 minutes remaining. Walker-Peters again on this near side. Ward-Prowse. Back with Walker-Peters. Touches it inside. Gets it back from Smallbone. Walker-Peters. Getting forward at every opportunity. Romeo then plays it back.
Has to be a foul, that Matic on Walker-Peters. But United are camped.
Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right-hand side. And Southampton with Redmond. Lindelof again gets there before Shane Long, puts it out of play. Manchester United now will make the double change. And the players who are... Greenwood is going to be coming off for Daniel James.
Wonder...
And the other change will be Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I'm not overly surprised with that. Gunnar Solskjaer just wants to stiffen up that midfield. Fresh legs. Power with McTominay. Fernandes hasn't been so influential this evening. I suppose you could say can't be brilliant every time he walks onto a football field. He's made such an impact, hasn't he, at United since coming here, transformed the season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows they've got to see this one through, so McTominay on.
A test of the resolve for Manchester United, who are 6 minutes away, plus added on time, of maybe displacing Leicester City from the top four. Brendan Rodgers' side would be dropping out of the top four for the first time since September. They'd go above Leicester and Chelsea. Southampton would remain in 12th place. But there is still time for a Southampton side who have caused United problems on occasions, more than occasions, this evening.
Yeah, McTominay's gone in alongside Matic, and Fred's just playing in the Fernandes role, shall we call it, just in front in midfield. James, like for like, out on that right-hand side with Greenwood, but United can't get the ball off Southampton at this moment.
Redmond hits the high ball. Williams climbed over the top of Smallbone. Southampton try and win it back. Ings succeeds, cuts it back. Redmond infield, stroke towards Romeo. Every outfield player again is in the half away towards our right. They're not panicking, Southampton, they're keeping the ball well. Redmond again, he's popping up, he's on that left hand side. Bertrand's there as well. Romeo's forward ball laid off then by Ings to Bertrand, providing the width on the left hand side.
That's a foul.
Redmond now left corner of the penalty area, threatening for Southampton. Redmond with the shot, very good save by De Gea. One-handed save, turns it behind for a corner kick, and it's still 2-1 United.
Yeah, it was a foul out on the left-hand side, but good advantage, and Redmond so dangerous. Couple of step overs on his favoured right foot. So sort of 16 yards out, left-hand side of the box. He's trying to bend it into that far top corner, and De Gea gets a big right hand, brilliant save, tips it over. It's arrowing into that far top corner.
His right hand coming across his body to make the save. Ward-Prowse with the corner kick. It's an outswinger, headed away by Maguire, headed back by Redmond. Goes out towards the left-hand side. Stevens will let it run out. It'll be a corner kick for Southampton. They're maintaining the pressure on Manchester United. It's only a slender lead for the Red of Manchester United with 4 minutes remaining of normal time. And Obafemi is going to be coming on as Southampton make a change. Michael, Obafemi.
Yeah, another forward on for Southampton. Last throw of the dice, maybe. Romeo off, central midfielder. Really going for it, Ralph. That's the only way he knows.
So Obafemi comes on. We're inside. 3.5 minutes remaining. In comes the in-swinging cross. It's headed away by Lindelof, 6 yards out. Stubbed back in by Walker-Peters. McCarthy collects the ball outside the centre circle of his own half. Bertrand will give it him back. Backpedaling goalkeeper, all in pink, midway through his own half. Under pressure from James. Clears back downfield. Taken on the chest by Shane Long. Laid off. Forward ball. Bertrand. Far side. Redmond, if required, from Ward-Prowse. He finds him. He's now level with the penalty area. Bertrand has stayed in the attack. It's a short ball on that left-hand side. It's cut back to Ward-Prowse. Delivers it out towards the left. Redmond with a cross into the penalty area. Headed away by Matic. Rashford then will volley it clear, and Martial will give chase. And a potential counter-attack. And look at Rashford scampering through the middle. But Martial, I don't think he's going to find him, as McCarthy's anticipation gets there first on the edge of the area. And the ball rolls out of play for a throw.
Yeah, shame for United. Southampton thrown everybody forward, and Rashford broke out, hit the ball out to the left-hand side to Martial, who was over near the halfway line. Just had to take the pace off the ball. Martial overhit it, and the Southampton goalkeeper McCarthy read it very, very well.
We were always expecting a good contest, the way that Southampton play their football, and it has materialised just that way. They're forcing Manchester United back, and with 2 minutes remaining, have got a free kick taken quickly. Ward-Prowse to Walker-Peters. It's been a test, this, for Manchester United. Walker-Peters held up by Williams midway through the Manchester United half. He goes back, and now it's with Stevens further back towards the goalkeeper. That will suit Manchester United. Quite a high line as that defence of those red shirts pushed towards the edge of the centre circle, and the flick header by Long will be dealt with by Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, forward ball. Bertrand, glancing header back to Bednarek.
They'll try and play though, Southampton. No point just lumping it up to the centre forwards, because you would expect Lindelof and Maguire to be able to deal with that sort of ball. So Southampton will try and make passes.
Well, they're the ones who are finishing this contest the stronger. Seeing a lot of the ball in these closing stages. Looking for an equaliser at 2-1 down. Bertrand on that far side, the left. Back it goes to Bednarek, left of the centre circle. Right-footed ball, drilled downfield. Walker-Peters loses out in the air to Williams. He might have been caught. That's a head injury. Yeah. Walker-Peters has stayed down. In fact, look at the reaction of the Manchester United players. Harry Maguire hurriedly wanting the physios on to tend to Walker-Peters and Brandon Williams, who've both gone down with that clash of heads.
Yeah, it's an awful collision. Both players committed, eyes on the ball as a crossfield ball. Bednarek from left to right on the corner of the Manchester United box. Walker-Peters rises, and so does Williams at the same time. Both players' eyes on the ball, and it's a horrible collision. Walker-Peters down on his back, and Williams just rolled over. He's not in a good way.
They've already lost Luke Shaw through injury. Brandon Williams at one stage was on his knees, and he's now flat on his back. There hasn't been much movement from Walker-Peters.
It's a nasty, nasty collision. Good to see the medical teams are both sides on the pitch immediately, not hanging around with head knocks. You can't take chances.
Well, Williams is now sat up. Walker-Peters is still being tended to by the two physios. So this will mean that we're going to have a lengthy stoppage in play here, as we've just entered the added on time. The regulation 90 minutes are up on a night where Wycombe Wanderers have got promoted to the Championship, beating Oxford United by 2-1 in the League One playoff final. By the way, because Tuffers and Vaughan is coming up at 10 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live, all the reaction from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralph Hasenhüttl will be in the Football Daily, the podcast that you're able to download from the usual outlets in the morning, of Manchester United 2, Southampton 1.
Just seeing that Redmond chance again. Don't know, what a save from De Gea. Had his critics this season, and quite rightly so. That was a big moment. Redmond must have thought when it hit that shot inside the United box that he'd scored right-footed, arrowing towards the top corner, and all of a sudden, big arm, big hand of De Gea tipped it over.
Well, it's good to see Walker-Peters on his feet, and looks like he'll be able to return. Still, the treatment is being applied to Brandon Williams for this lengthy stoppage in play, which actually might suit Manchester United, because Southampton were finishing very, very strongly in this half, and it'll be a disruption to Southampton.
Yeah, United are really under the pump. Such a fit team, aren't they, Southampton? Whatever Ralph Hasenhüttl is feeding them, I'd like some.
You're not alone in that respect.
Oh, incredible energy, haven't they?
Williams is on his feet and is being helped off with the aid of the two physios either side of him, with their protective gear on, the face masks and the white apron. I'm not too sure that Williams is able to continue.
It's interesting, isn't it? As you see, Williams, is he going to continue or not? But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been down in his technical area the last 15 or so minutes. He knows how important this is. The door open for United to jump into third place. They're nearly there. Just need to get over the line.
The thing is, because Manchester United are now going to have to finish the game with 10 men, because you're only allowed to bring on the substitutes at 3 different intervals. So because Fred came on 63 minutes, Williams was 75 and James and McTominay 84, they're not allowed to bring on, although they've only used the 4 substitutes, they're not entitled to use that 5th substitute because the 3 opportunities have been used. So they're going to have to finish the game with 10 men.
It's Matic who slotted in to the left back role.
And the thing is, although the clock says 93 minutes, we're into 5 minutes of added on time. I think those 5 minutes will start now, so we will be playing, I think, till about the 98th minute as a result of that added on time for Chris Kavanagh. So they're playing against 10 men with the remaining 5 minutes. Manchester United still lead by 2-1. Stevens looks to Redmond. Long, lays it off, left corner of the area. Bertrand doesn't deliver the ball. Instead, he lays it behind him for Redmond. Redmond just in from the touchline. Southampton picking up where they left off before that lengthy stoppage. Bednarek rolls it back out towards the left-hand side. Can Redmond deliver? Just in from the touchline. Bertrand's ahead of him. Bertrand now waits. Manchester United have everybody back in and around the penalty area at walking pace. Casually, Redmond strokes it back. Bednarek midway through the Manchester United half. The Polish defender then gets it back from Stevens. It's played back out towards the left. Standing still, Bertrand gets the return ball from Redmond. helped out by Daniel James, who plays it off the legs of Bertrand. Knew exactly what he's doing, and Manchester United win a throw deep inside their own half, and I would say we've got about 3.5 minutes remaining of added on time.
Yeah, James did really well, working hard for the team, wins the throw-in for his team, but Southampton had 5 players in the box at times there. They've got to load the ball in. You know what's going to happen now. United are going to sit deep, try and keep things compact in the middle of the park, and just try and clear the ball upfield and just hang on however they do it. It's all about the points now.
And as a result, they would go unbeaten in 18 games. The last time they were 18 unbeaten was in the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, who I think is down below in the director's box. That was March 2013. Leading 2-1. Redmond, though, trying to work his way through. Wins a corner as well. Didn't have many options, but he beavered away, and he's got a corner as a result of that as Nathan Redmond. He was up against Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James, and with, I reckon, another 2.5 minutes maybe remaining of added on time, it's a corner kick to Southampton, who trail by 2-1.
They go zonal, don't they, United?
Arm aloft from Ward-Prowse. It's an in-swinger, and Southampton have salvaged it right to the death. And Manchester United have squandered points, and Southampton from the corner kick, and it was flicked on by Obafemi almost on the goal line, and Manchester United have dropped points in the race for the top 4. They will stay outside the top 4, and Chelsea and Leicester will celebrate just as wildly as Southampton have. It's 2-2.
Well, you have to say you felt it was coming. Credit to Southampton, the energy levels which they've shown, and it's from a set piece. Ward-Prowse, such good delivery, whipped in with great pace. It's flicked by Bednarek on the near post. Obafemi just peels away as the corner kick is taken into that area. The Pomo position of maximum opportunity on the far post, and he just pokes the ball into the roof of the net from a yard. That's a huge goal for Southampton, and implications for Manchester United, who will stay 5th. Ian.
It is a huge goal in the race for the top 4 as well as for Southampton, and you've got to say it was coming, wasn't it? To their credit, they have stayed in the game and they applied the late pressure, and they've been rewarded, Chris Sutton.
Well, brave, fearless, they're just an excellent team, Southampton. The look on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's face, he is bewildered. He can't believe it, but it was coming. It showed a real confidence. 20 minutes to go. It's quite even the second half, but they pushed United back, played the better stuff. De Gea made a big save, had opportunities, and United will be red-faced. They will be kicking themselves.
A little bit misleading if you're looking at the 5 minutes of added on, and we're now in the 98th minute, but because of that lengthy stoppage, by my watch I think we've got about 60 seconds remaining. Matic on the halfway line under pressure from Obafemi, slips. He has to go then back to David De Gea. This will be a disappointing result for Manchester United as De Gea goes long downfield. Flag stays down. Rashford running left-hand side of the penalty area. Rashford into the box. Rashford can't thread it through. It might come out towards Fred. Rashford there gets there first. Out towards Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side towards Daniel James. And there was a foul there on the back of Bertrand. And that will be a free kick to Southampton. And that might be it in terms of time. Manchester United 2, Southampton 2. And all the sides in pursuit of the Champions League football for next season. Chelsea, Leicester and Manchester United unable to win in this latest round of fixtures.
Couldn't have written that, could you? And I think most people, quite rightly so, with United's form of late, thought United would be the team to, in absolute certainty, to finish in that Champions League spot. What we've learned tonight, it's very, very much game on.
Walker-Peters hits it long. Could there still yet be another twist in the tail as Maguire will try and marshal it out for a goal kick and succeeds despite the best efforts of Danny Ings. By my watch, we're now playing for nearly 6 minutes of added on time. Manchester United 2, Southampton 2, and Southampton continue to pick up points away from home, and they have certainly helped out Chelsea and Leicester City, but more themselves. They'll be pleased with the way that they've applied themselves tonight because Southampton have been terrific. 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Got the lead early on from Armstrong. United responded with 2 good goals and they started to control the game, but second half was a little bit more scrappy. But the last 20 minutes, Southampton's fitness levels, their belief, they just kept going for it. They have nothing to play for. Great desire from the team. They created the better chances. Obafemi got the equaliser, and big implications for the race for the top 4 now.
Manchester United stay 5th. It's finished Manchester United 2, Southampton 2. Mark.
Colin Murray here at 10:30. Tuffers and Vaughan from around 10 past 10 with Ellie. That's a fully deserved point, Chris, for Southampton.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, they've been absolutely excellent the longer this season has gone on. They play front foot football. Their fitness levels are astonishing. I said to Deno in commentary, whatever Ralph is feeding them, send me some. Phenomenal. And they kept going. They were the better team. They pushed United back. They have such belief in the way they play. They're a proper team, Southampton. Ward-Prowse, his delivery, fantastic from the corner. The sub, Obafemi, only on the pitch for a couple of minutes, prodded the ball home, but they kept believing and they got the reward.
The other thing with Southampton, and I saw this tweet from Carl Anker, who covers Southampton for The Athletic, about the new physical edge that Southampton have under Hassan Hüttl, tied second in the league for red cards. And, as well as pressing Manchester United, they got stuck in tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a feature of the way they play. When he wants his team to play front football, and you can't be timid in that respect. But I think the longer this season has gone on, you see the work they put in off the ball. They get their angles right when they're pressing. They get the distances right. And they are a really well-oiled, super fit team. And we've seen they're a threat to anybody. They are a superbly capable outfit. You'd say Ings is the star man, but they all work so hard for each other.
Did you sense, Ian, that was because you've done a lot of Manchester United games over the last couple of years. Did you sense that was a little bit, certainly the last half hour of that second half was a bit like the bad old United, where they invited teams onto them?
Yes, yeah, they seem to lose momentum as the game wore on, and I don't know whether that was a psychological thing, that all of a sudden they've got something to lose, because they'll have been aware that this was a massive 3 points for them, but they didn't seem to. I thought that Southampton, like you've said, Mark, deserved a share of the game tonight. They were the better side for the first quarter of the game. They finished strongly. They asked questions of Manchester United, but Manchester United just didn't seem to have that. What's the word I'm looking at? They weren't as cohesive, I don't think, as the game wore on. And
Fernandes didn't really click tonight for them, and I think certainly the last 20 minutes, Southampton showed great bravery on the ball, and United didn't keep the ball well at all. We know they have great pace up top, but you're looking in the middle of the park there. He made some substitutions, didn't he? Took Fernandes off. Pogba was poor all evening, but they didn't really hold on to the ball well enough, kept giving it back, and then it was wave after wave of attack from Southampton. It looked like they were going to hold on, United, and if they had done, we'd all be saying great character, but great credit to Southampton.
I didn't think that the United substitutions, though, came on and made any sort of impact, did they?
Fair. No, and they didn't look as sharp, did they? They didn't look as slick. They just looked half a yard off the pace.
Yes, I think that's fair, but you have to look at Southampton and their levels.
Oh, all right, maybe yes. So maybe they were forced to look half a yard off the pace.
I think I'd suggest that was that. But that really is a turn up, because I think we all expected United to see this one through. When they got in front, but that's a hammer blow now for them. There's a lot of pressure with the implications of what happened this morning, and with Manchester City, the race is really, really on now. And United, the door was open, and they didn't take their opportunity.
I still fancy United to finish top 4. I know.
If they win their last 3 games, they will finish top 4, won't they?
Well, it depends on Leicester. Because they play on the last day of the season. Yeah.
Blimey. What's wrong with you?
It's been an emotional evening. Anthony sent us a text. Southampton, or this may be a tweet. Southampton turned into a real quality side, taking a good United side the distance and looking the better team. Jamie, Southampton scoring last minute. United always mess up when they have the chance to go top four. Brendan, it's kind of what we've been discussing here, knew the goal was coming. Hope we'd be able to hold on, but fair play to Southampton. They deserve to get something out of the game. Do you think that middle text from Jamie about United messing up when they have a chance to go top four, do you think there is a psychological thing when there is something a little bit more on the line?
I think with the nature of the way this game was at 2-1, I mean, it happens so much, doesn't it? The side in front gets nervous. They know that's a stake, but I wouldn't have thought they would think